Welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James. I'm going to be showing you how to play this game called Tesla versus Edison. It's a 2 to 5 player game designed by Dirk Niemeyer, and he also designed A New Science, another game that we have talked about in the past. So he must be a science type person. So we start with $14,000 each player, and you have the Luminary cards. You're just going to flip them upside down, look for the one, put all the ones together, put all the twos together, and the propaganda cards. Here's the ones, the twos, and the threes. You're just going to mix those up, and based on the number of players, you're going to take some of them out. You start with a marker here on turn 1. This game lasts 6 turns. You are going to put a marker here on the AC/DC fame track right in the center. To start off, you're going to draft one of the inventors here. So whoever goes first will pick which inventor he wants. He will take a preferred share of this company. Shows the company name here. He'll take the cubes for that company, and he'll put one of his cubes down here in the present and one in the future track here. And then it goes to the next player, and the next player picks one and does exactly the same thing, and we go through all the players. So the person that got to pick first, they are going to go last. Essentially, this is worker placement because you're exhausting your inventors and your luminaries to do actions. And you also want to look at the inventor. Every inventor has its own special ability. So make sure you read that, because that will help you focus on some benefit that you can have throughout the game. Maxim here says he only pays half the regional reputation penalty rounded up when he personally claims a project. So claiming a project is up here, this part of the board. So that would make it cheaper for him to do some stuff up there. Your preferred share is just like your regular shares of the company, except for it's worth 4 shares. So once all the inventors have been taken, and every player has taken a single inventor, then we go into the auction, the luminary auction phase. So this means for phase 1, we are in phase 1 right here. We're going to flip those up, and these are going to be available to the players. And once again, you're going to only have a certain number of these available based on the number of players in the game. So this lightning bolt up there here means invention, and then this is manufacturing, and this is finance, and this is propaganda symbol here. So what happens is just a traditional auction. So whoever's highest on the fame track up here is going to start the auction. So he's going to look through these and pick one out and say, I will bid $1,000. And you go around until people have to increase or they pass. If they pass, they're out. If they increase until somebody buys the card. So you're going to end up with an inventor and a luminary for your company. And this luminary is part of your company, whichever inventor you have. Let's put those off to the side there. And then whoever's next in line for the highest on the fame track here will start the next bidding. And you're limited to one luminary. So if you've bought one, you can't bid on any more. And the last, once you get to the last person, he can just buy one for $1,000. Luminary auction, then you go through the actions. And here's your different choices for actions. You can advance in technology. You're going to have one of these markers on each of these spaces. You've got the bulb track, you've got AC, and you've got DC. So when you advance, you have to, when you do one of your actions, you have to flip over a card to do it. And this, the technology, is the only one where you can flip over more than one card in a turn. But this would show you how much you can go forward on either the bulb track, the AC, or the DC track. They all have requirements. This shows one lightning bolt and one gear. This has a 2 and a 2. So it's not enough that I could go up here, because that would add 2 plus 1 is 3, and 1 plus 1 is 2. But you can go up multiple in the same action if you can pay for the total cost. So let's just say I went up here and I flipped over Charles Batchelor, and that would be my action. So that's advancing in technology. Propaganda is over here, and propaganda is based on this one. This one lets you buy a propaganda card. So you flip it over. Notice that this one actually has propaganda. Some of these cards don't have any value next to them. This one has propaganda, so you can use it for the propaganda value in addition to getting a propaganda card. And you have to get it for whichever phase you're on here. But this has a value on AC, DC, propaganda, and then a dollar value. And then this is a fame track. A star is a fame track. So plus or minus 2 on the fame track, that lets you put your cube up or anybody's cube up or down 2 spaces on the fame track. And you only change the future column because at the end of the turn you change the present column to match the future column. Now the AC/DC fame track, that would move this cube up or down the corresponding number of spaces. You're gonna get this dollar value also. And then if you played a card, if you flipped over a card that had a propaganda icon on it with a value, you can do that in addition to this. So change the AC/DC fame or the companies. And there was a big pull politically between which was going to win out, AC or DC, which was the better technology to light your light bulbs with. So that's what that represents, is the, you know, trying to get the public in favor of your technology that your company is promoting, either AC or DC. Then you have the stock market. And the stock market, you're going to have a cube on here for each stock. And they start at 12,000. So you can simply buy a share from the available shares for whatever is the cube value, and it's going to go up. So when you buy on the stock market, buy or sell on the stock market, you're going to have to flip over an inventor or a luminary to do that. If there's a dollar value associated with it, that actually adjusts your price to buy and sell, and you can buy and sell any number of stock shares. So you can buy a bunch, you can sell a bunch, whatever, but you cannot buy and sell the same company on the same turn. So this is the starting value of each stock share. And so it would be 12,000 to buy a share, but you would subtract this in thousands times the phase number. So in this case, at the beginning of the game, it would be 12,000 minus 1,000. There's only there's 6 turns in this game, but there's only 3 phases. So this is phase 1, here's phase 2, here's phase 3. So if you were in phase 3 and you were buying a $12,000 stock, it would be 12,000 minus 3,000. And then the same thing happens when you sell. When you buy, the value goes up, and it goes up based on the phase number. So you're going to move up 1 because you're in phase 1. If you were in phase 2, you'd go up 2. Once you get to the top, you start at the bottom of the next column and you go up. When you're selling, though, you're going to sell at whatever value it's at on here, and you're going to shift 1 column to the left. If you're up above where there is nothing to the left, you're going to go down to the topmost space in the next column. And you're actually getting extra money based on which one you exhausted and flipped over. So the same value as the discount, you're going to get extra. So it's this number multiplied times the phase number in addition to the cost of the share, the value of the share. You cannot sell your preferred shares. And then the other action you can do is claim a project. And in claiming a project, you'll notice that you have a technology level for each city. So a 1 level, everybody starts with a 1. They have a level 1 bulb and a level 1 AC and DC. But once they go forward, this is now a level 2 bulb. But I could only build a level 1 city if I was in this situation here, because I don't have AC or DC up to a level that's high enough to support a higher level than a 1. So a 2 or 3 or something higher, you have to have the bulb technology, and you have to have either the DC or the AC technology to support that level in addition. You'll notice that the different size of the city is based on this icon right here. And this is the cost to build a project in that city. So a small city here costs $4,000. It moves the stock up 4 positions for whichever company you are building in that city. And this up 4 is going to also be adjusted by this here, this track here. So if you're going to put it up in DC, if you're using DC technology, and you just have to say, I'm using DC technology, I'm going to build in Toledo, which is a level 1. So DC technology costs me $4,000 for the small city. I can move up 4 spaces for my stock, plus 1 because this is DC. DC is popular at this point because of where this fame cube is. So I would move up my value of my stock 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll notice you can also end up moving down. So this fight over which has more fame, the AC or the DC track, can help or it can hurt you. You'll notice also that the medium-sized city has a different cost and the bigger city has a different cost also. There is also, when you're putting these down, there is a penalty if you're not building adjacent to one that you already have. Your very first one, there is no penalty. You can put it anywhere on the board. The next after that, it costs an extra 1,000 if you skip over a space for every space that you skip over. So this would be an extra 1,000. This would be an extra 2,000. You also get your Luminary discount on claiming projects, just like you got the discount on the stock market. If you exhaust one that has a value, you're going to multiply that times what phase you're in and reduce the cost of the project by that. So once you've paid this, this goes to the bank, but you also have to pay patent holders. And patent holders are people that have the technology, have a patent on a technology. And you have to pay that based on which technology level you're using. So even if, let's say you're building in a level 3 technology, but maybe your things are up at 4, you say, well, I'm using DC. If somebody has a patent in level 4, you have to pay them the patent value. And that is based on what level it is. So a level 4 is $4,000. If you don't have to necessarily have these at the same level, but they do have to be high enough to build in that city. So the way you get a patent is by exhausting one that has a dollar value here. And then that one costs 1,000. This one has a 1,000. So if I exhaust Sir Hiram Maxim at the beginning of the game, I could claim that patent, because he has enough of both of those symbols in addition to the dollar value. You cannot pay money to get the patent. You have to use the value on the inventor or the luminary. So the turn ends when every card has been exhausted. If you decide you want to pass for some reason, you still have to exhaust a card. So the end of the turn happens when all cards have been exhausted. The future fame track becomes the present fame track. So I've only got 2 players here, but that's the way that works. Also at the end of the turn, whoever has the preferred technology. So if the cube was down here, this would be DC would be preferred. Up here, AC is being preferred. So whoever owns the highest patent in the preferred technology, their cube will go up based on what phase you're in. So phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3, it will increase the value of that company. You also pay out stock profits, and those are listed down here. So whoever has cubes in this column will get 4,000. Cubes in this column get 6,000. Doesn't make any difference how many shares you have. It doesn't make any difference. Whoever has that company, they get that dollar value at the end of the turn. All luminaries get flipped face up. Inventors and luminaries, you go up 1 space on the turn track. And if you are in turn 3 or turn 5, then you auction another luminary. More luminaries, the same way we did it in the first time, except for the stocks. There are only, at the beginning of the game, you start with only 4 shares of stock plus the preferred share. So there are extra leftover stock certificates. Those get mixed up and they get dealt out to the luminaries randomly. And so whoever buys that luminary would get a free share of that stock. So that can be quite a good incentive to buy a specific luminary, because the value of that stock may be up here by by turn 3 or turn 5. And the game ends at the end of turn 6. And so at the end of turn 6, you are going to look at the value of your stock portfolio. So you're just going to multiply the value of all of your shares times whatever value that stock is at the time. And I just got to say, you really have to pay attention to the stock market in this game, because other people can own stock in your company and drive the value down by selling it. It's so painful to watch them sell your stock, drive it down, and then another player sells it and drives it down. And what you had that was very valuable, you might have had several shares in it, becomes worth less. So that's how you play Tesla versus Edison, War of Currents. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network and learn how to play games like Tesla versus Edison, learn how to play A New Science, learn how to play all kinds of great games that have come out in the last year.